Hey guys, I'm Alana from Win-Win, and as you know, I love talking to interesting people about their FIFO jobs, how they got in, and it allows people like yourself watching maybe to have different options as to like jobs that you could be going after and the path to get in. Now, without a doubt, my guest today on this version of Insights is, I hate to say it, but my favorite client that I have ever worked with in the 20 something years that I have been doing this job. I love people who are motivated. I love people who've got a wicked personality. And this guy needs no introduction, although I'm going to give him one anyway, because he's actually a massive TikTok star now. Cal, um, this is Cal Mackle. How do I even pronounce your last name, Cal? I don't even know.
McElwain, McElwain,
Right,
McElwain.
right, there we go. People, I know you've seen this face before. Come on. All right, Cal, thank you so much for coming and joining me on Insights here. Let's
No
talk
worries.
about you and your incredible story as to how you decided, oh yeah, a little Irish guy, I'm just gonna go over to the other side of the country and get myself a mining job. Tell me about that, Cal. What was going through your mind?
So I think like back home, I used to run like nightclub events, right? So I used to run like parties and put on events in different nightclubs, and that was all going sweet. Had these events that all did well, had a big ecosystem of staff that worked for us and brands that were real well known, like around Northern Ireland, and we're in all these different venues and had all these sweet events and parties for people to get fucked up in, have a good time, socialize, and that was sort of my life from fucking like 17 right up to maybe like COVID, which was I was probably 26, 27, something like that. And then whenever COVID happened, all those there got absolutely scrapped because we couldn't run any like big events. So I went from like being doing well, making money, all going sweet, and then COVID sort of just completely pulled the rug out from underneath us, which was terrible, super shit. And then we started a print business, which was going well. And then I also like started working for like Amazon just like on the weekends for extra money. And I started to like work in a supermarket as well. And like Australia was always just like Australia back home was almost like this like fucking like mecca almost for like Irish people to get to. Like everybody knows someone that's got went to Australia. You hear like all these like cool stories of people going over there, making loads of money, living there, got citizenship, and they're all just loving life. You hear about how much better the weather is, how much like cool shit there is to do, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. So like Australia was always like a not even not like just specifically the FIFO thing, but just like as a traveler, as like someone that wants to go on like adventure and do like crazy shit. Australia was always in my head and in my plans. And whenever the whole COVID thing happened, it sort of set. I was planning to come, but all COVID thing like sort of set me back like 2 or 3 years because I had to start the print business, then I had to like save up money, and just sort of took me a while to get over. But whenever I sort of made the decision to yeah, said to my business partner was coming over, and I sort of was just researching like cool jobs that you can make like a lot of money in and like relatively quickly. Because I knew I wanted to come try like the main reason to come over here was to make enough money so I can go traveling. Like I'm not over here for like a long-term career and anything. This is essentially just like a money grab for me. So I'm over here trying to research like all these like real high earning like jobs. The first one I actually got onto, which I was like close to pulling the trigger on. Have you ever heard of commercial diving? You know the people that
Yeah,
uh like go down on the oil rigs and shit and like do like welding and shit like that. So I was like
yeah.
seriously consider thinking that because I'm a scuba diver, right? So I've done like maybe like 50, I don't know, on like 56 or 57 dives. And I was looking like seriously looking into this because I was going to do a course back in the UK. You can do one in Cornwall, but it was costing like 16 grand or something like that. Like my money. It's like 32 over here just to do
Jesus.
just to do the course. And I was like, nah, fuck that. And then was just researching more and more and more. Then I got on the Australian mines and FIFO and just started researching it because I can't remember even how I came across it. I think it was just like researching like on Google like high paying jobs for like entry level and all that kind of shit. And then like FIFO mining came up, and then the whole like wanting to go to Australia thing anyway. I wanted to go over there, and then I just sort of you heard about like people making all this money and fucking loads of Irish people going over there and XYZ, and I sort of started to like deep dive a bit more into it, and then I was like, right, sweet, well, fuck, this is a cool plan. And I remember like saying to my parents about it, and they were like, "Are you fucking stupid? Like, no way. That is a terrible idea. There's no way. It's super dangerous. You're not going to be able to get in. You're going to go over and." My parents are just very doom and gloom,
Yeah.
and real pessimistic. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh fuck you, like no way, like I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it work. And then from then just started like research it more. Back home, I'd plan like right, okay, I'm gonna go to Australia, but like I'm gonna go in like a year and a half or whatever. So I was like finishing up with like all my other jobs while also like researching a lot to like get over. I know some
Yeah.
people just like come over here on like a complete whim and just go, right, well, I'm just gonna come over anyway. But I like sort of I was researching everything about it for like a year and a bit before. I had my flights and all booked like fucking a year before I even like arrived. So
Wow.
it was like very forward thinking. So I had like, a lot of time to research things and sort of look into them and sort of come up with a like a field proof plan on my way into it kind of thing. And then that's where whenever where I discovered you. So I discovered you on YouTube, right?
Oh,
So
I would have
yeah,
thought.
so that was actually one of like the first places where I like got like a good bit of information from like from all your YouTube videos. And fuck, I was watching them. Yeah, I was watching them probably probably like 3 years ago now. And I just went onto your channel and just like was watching, like just fucking went through all of them. There's ones about like what entry level jobs to get, ones about what to take up on the site, ones about like your mental, like how to like get yourself through sites. And I was just going through all of them. And I was like, right, fuck, sweet. This is all sweet information. But to be honest, like in that whole like research like phase of everything, there wasn't really like that much there. It was like there was a couple of YouTube videos. There was all your stuff. There was not another guy that I watched a bit, and then other than that, like there was just shit online about like what FIFO was or whatever. But there wasn't really like a clear sort of pathway on
Path
how to get
in.
in. Yeah, and you just kept hearing over and over again. It's like it's oh you've no chance unless you like know somebody. You need to know someone, all this kind of crack, and you need to come with like experience and all that kind of shit. And it just sort of almost like not like deterred me, but I was like, fuck, this is actually gonna be like harder than like I first thought. But then also you also hear people saying like, oh, there's absolutely shitloads of jobs over here. You'll be able to walk over and you'll be able to walk straight into a job,
Oh,
which like yeah, which is horseshit, which yeah is like not fucking true at all. And I think even more so now, like since COVID's happened, and since like so many like countries' economies are like fucked, and they're like the UK and Ireland and like most of the places in Europe, like their economy is literally nosediving into the side of a fucking mountain, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to like
yeah.
do a 180 anytime soon. So there's such like strong like push factors that are pushing everybody out of the country that they're in, and there's such strong like pull factors that are saying Australia's sort of like fuck here, look at me, I have unreal weather. Pays absolutely fucking shitloads. There's loads of people from the UK and Ireland over here already. There's loads of shit to do. There's cool wildlife. You're like close to Southeast Asia and all that kind of shit. There's such like
Yeah.
strong pull factors pulling people into Australia, and there's such strong push factors pushing everyone out of their own countries. So whenever I first got here, uh, the plan, like a lot, you hear just from research and shit like that, you hear like loads of people would come over and like they would have their sort of like Australian like travel holiday, and they would go and blow the tits off it and spend loads of their money, and then they sort of be panicking because they're running out of money and getting a job is actually a bit harder than they first thought. So then you're going up shit creek without a paddle kind of thing, and you're panicking. But my whole plan was to get over here and to get working like as soon as I fucking could. So I went from working my balls off in Ireland and then got straight over here, and then didn't really have like that much time at all to like enjoy myself, and just was like laser focused on like getting the role. So I started putting plans in place to come over here and to get going with that. And uh I knew it was going to like take a lot of effort and a lot of sort of like an investment, but I put that into my budget, and I was like, because I came over with like not really that much experience in it, well, not no experience in like all the shit that I'm doing now with these fucking big machines and shit. Like I knew that I had to make myself as attractive as possible to the employers because I didn't have the experience. So I was
Yeah.
totally willing. I put in my budget coming over here that I was going to dump like whatever money it took to get me trained up, to get me my best chance to get in, really. And yeah, see, to be honest, like the plan worked out exactly how I wanted it to. And I
Yeah.
got, yeah, had a job within a month really of landing. And then I've just been in that same role like ever since. And yeah, I've just finished my 8th month, and I'm going to go up for my ninth swing here in a week. And then I've got 2 more swings left. That's my visa finished. So
Oh
yeah,
no. Well, good
sweat.
to see you actually had a plan. I swear, a lot of people that, especially that we're dealing with at the moment, think they're going to get off the plane and then be handed a high vis shirt and be
Yeah,
like, there you go, jump on that plane now. You can go out to the mines, which does not happen without a
no, it
solid
does not
plan.
happen.
You're fucking going nowhere, basically. So,
Yeah.
all right. Let's roll it back a bit, Cal. You're going too far ahead here. You're ticking off
Sorry,
all the questions that I've got for you.
sorry.
All right, all good. So, right, you had the plan. Fantastic. You land in Australia. What do you do next?
So I landed at like 1 a.m. at night. I went straight to the hostel. I'd already had a hostel booked for, I think I had the hostel booked for 2 weeks, and it was Spinner's Hostel in Perth in Northbridge, which I thought was sweet. Location and all of it was good. So anyone coming over at Spinner's Hostel, I also stayed in Hostel G as well. So they're both central to the city centre, and that's where I sort of based myself for like the first little bit. So the very first day. I landed, got to bed that night. The very next day, I woke up and had to do all my admin shit. I knew all the admin stuff I needed to do. I needed to get my tax file number. I needed to go and open my Commonwealth bank account. I needed to go into Telstra. I needed to go to the Medicare. I needed to go to what was the other one? Can't remember, but it was like all that admin kind of shit that you need to do. Like I did it literally the
Yeah,
fucking after a couple of hours of waking up. Just standard, walked into town from my hostel and just had a plan. Knew I needed to go to Commonwealth, knew I needed to go to Telstra, XYZ, and then just did all those. And then after that, I had maybe 3 or 4 days of like doing touristy shit and sort of went to like Kings Park, went to Cottesloe Beach, sort of enjoyed being in Australia for a bit. But then I knew like I'd already had all the tickets and shit booked for like the next week starting on the Monday. And then I pretty much just like lived in the fucking training facility for like 2 weeks straight, getting all these tickets. Like day after day after day, I was in there, and it was a nightmare because I had to get a bus. I had to get a bus to the train station, go get on the train, then go on a bus, and then walk to the training facility, and you have to be there for 8:30. So it was like you're just sort of like back at work again. You're up whenever the fucking sun was rising, and you're traveling on public transport to get to the training facility. Did that for 2 weeks, but I just knew I needed to like hammer it out because once they were done kind of thing. So
yeah. And so when you came over here, obviously you thought, oh yeah, I want to get into the mines. Did you have any specific jobs that you wanted to get, or you were just like, fuck it, I'm just going to get as many
nah,
tickets as I can,
yeah,
or yeah,
yep. Like no, exactly it. I was totally. I'm a complete. I know I'm a hard worker. I know I'm a grafter, and I was willing to. I was literally willing to do anything. I was willing to do any role that it was able to get my foot in the door. Because from all the research and shit, like you did hear that the hardest bit is getting your first sort of foot in the door, your first gig, and then
yeah,
after that you sort of be able to move around quite freely. And like that's 100% true. Like now I've been doing the serviceman role for like 8 months now. I'd 100% be able to like move to a different role if I wanted to, or a different
yeah,
site, or like, you get chatting to supervisors and superintendents and like foremen and all these people that just as you're up there, your network sort of just like
yeah.
grows and
Expands
expands.
big time.
Yeah. So by far the hardest bit is getting your foot in the door. And I knew that was going to be the hardest bit. So I was willing to take fucking whatever I could to just to even if it was like a utility role, just to get me in a foot in the door for like a little
Yeah.
bit of experience. And I was
And
willing to.
what licenses and qualifications did you go get first?
So the very first one I got was the white card. Was the white card. The next one I did was a combination. So I got all my tickets in a place called Licenses for Work. It's based in Perth. Loads of people get them through there, and like yeah, it's dead on. So I did the white card on one day. The next day I did working at heights, confined spaces, and gas testing, all in like a combo, all in the one day. So I got after 2 days I had 4 tickets, and then the day after that I did my first aid with CPR. And then after that, I did my 2 day forklift course. And then after that, I did my 2 day EWP over 11 meters.
Yeah,
So in the space like a week and a half, I had white card, working heights, confined spaces, gas testing, EWP, and forklift. And then I also needed to get my HR license as well.
yeah,
So then I got my HR license, and so yeah, that's all the tickets I have there. And then since I've been up on site, my company, it's fucking unreal because my company encourage you to get more tickets and like they pay for them. So I've also
sweet.
got like my like because I'm in the workshop, like the main workshop ones to get are the Manitou, like the big fucking like crane
Yeah,
thing. So I have the Manitou ticket and also the skid steer, like little bobcat.
yeah,
Uh, But then other people like up my site, they'll come up like completely green, get a dump truck ticket, they've got a water cart ticket, they've got a rotor ticket, they've got a compactor ticket, and they only had to get their fucking HR license, and my
Yeah.
company got all those tickets for them.
Yeah. Well, what I remember when I initially first met you, and it was 4 hours after you landed in the country or
Oh
something.
yeah. Yeah, forgot. So like after I did all that admin shit, so after I did all that, oh yeah, you're bringing me back now. So after I on the way walking into town, right, on the way walking into town, there was one at the big crossroad, like right at the Yargan Yard Center, whatever it is, like at the train station in Perth. I was waiting
Yeah.
across the road, and I just started fucking chatting to the guy, and I was like, oh yeah, I was asking him where the Commonwealth Bank was because I needed to go there. So I was asking him, and then just general chit chat. Yeah, just landed last night. Have to do all this kind of shit. I'm chasing like a FIFO role. And he goes, oh, no way, no way. That's cool. That's what I'm over here. He was from Melbourne and he was over in Perth, like doing like FIFO. And I was like, fuck, unreal, blah, blah, blah. And chatting away to him. And then he was like, if you need to get tickets and all, go to this place. I know like a lot of people that like get their tickets here. And I was like, right, okay, sweet. Got the number, got the address of this, just fucking random dude I started speaking to. And then once I did all the admin kind of shit, I got a taxi, or sorry, yeah, I got a taxi. My first ever Uber. Got a taxi from there to the place where he told me to get the things. TV's in front on there. And after that, whenever I went there and like chatted to them about getting the tickets, they handed me a business card, and it was a win-win business card, right? So it
Oh,
was a
there
win
you
business
go.
card. Yeah, and like no joke, literally fucking like I was probably on my feet for 3 or 4 hours after waking up, getting all that shit done. Walked to that place, got the business card. I was like, oh fuck, no way, no way, because like I'd watched all your videos and like I knew who you were, knew what you did, and knew like all that kind of shit. And like I remember like repeating like watching video like sort of important ones that I thought like right, this is like real good, this is real good information. So I remember like rewatching them. So like I knew them like pretty well. And then whenever she handed me that business card, I was like, fucking hell, yes, sweet. And then on this card was a number. And I was like, there's no fucking way if I ring this number, Alana's going to answer. And I was just like, fuck it. Because I was walking from that place with the tickets back to the bus stop. And I just phoned the number as soon as I got to the place. And then then you answered the phone. You said, hi, it's Alana from Win-Win. And that's how you start all the YouTube videos. And I was like, wow, what the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just going on about, oh yeah, oh my God, I watched all your videos before. Literally just arrived from Ireland, looking to get a FIFO job. I'm actually just arrived yesterday. This is my first day, and then was just fucking pure fangirling over like, oh, what did you take out of that conversation?
That conversation was so hilarious because I had just taken the phone back from one of my staff and I was like, no, 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 just give me the number, blah, 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 because usually somebody else answers it. And I took it back and then like this little Irish voice on the other end. And I was like, fuck, this guy's got some drive in him. Like, he's just landed in the country. He's already doing this, this, and this. I was like, I need to work with this guy. So that's why I was like, to my whole team after our conversation, I was like, I knew you were going to achieve your goals. And that's what I love about you. And that's why where a lot of people need to take note as well, because they think, oh, I've been trying like blah, blah, blah. If this guy can do it, anyone who's living in this country should be able to do exactly what you've done, which is the whole, I guess, the whole point. But
Yeah.
yeah, when I spoke to you, Cal, after that conversation, I got off and I had a chat to my team. I was like, we are going to move heaven and earth to help this guy out to achieve his goals, because I was just like, fuck yeah, this is the sort of thing that I would do as well. So yeah, that's where I was like, right, that's why I was like, so happy to get you on and have this chat, because your story
Yeah.
is like just so good. But
Thank
yeah,
you very much.
anytime. So look, tell me about, okay, so you went through the process, you got all the tickets, then obviously you went out, you engaged us to do what we do best, which is
Yeah,
work with you to
definitely.
help you get what you want and point you on the direct path, although you kind of had it anyway. And then what was the process? I mean, I know what the process is because I was working with you. But tell me, okay, you went through the medicals and all that sort of shit. Then you get your first job. Tell me, what was your first job? What was it like going up to site for the first time? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, right. So yeah, pretty much after got all the tickets, got you girls to do what you do best. And like just from even that, the resume that I sent you guys was dog shit compared to the one that you sent me back. So I was like fucking unreal. So I armed myself with all the tickets, armed myself with that like unreal like resume and cover letter and all that kind of shit. You did my LinkedIn, my Seek profile, like all that was like fucking like no joke. It was like 100%. the sole reason why I got my thing like so quickly. Because even like whenever I was getting interviews, people were saying your resume like stood out, and it wasn't it wasn't the resume I did. It was the resume that you sent me. So once I had like that good to go, I had all my tickets there, and everything was sweet. I then knew that I just had to fucking hammer Seek, hammer LinkedIn, hammer Facebook messages, and just reach out to as many people as possible. Did that for no joke, probably about 5 or 6 days of like solid like on the computer on the phone, which like in the overall scheme of things isn't really that fucking long. So
Yeah.
then eventually got a couple of interviews. I had a couple of for drillers offsiders. I had probably three for drillers offsider, and then I had one for this serviceman role that I'm in now. Before I got this role, I had no idea what a serviceman was. I remember actually asking you. I was like, I've just got an interview for a serviceman. What the what the fuck's that?
I'm
And
like, fuck yes,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have scored,
I
my
told
friend.
yeah, and I told the guy as well. I was like, yeah, 100% know what a serviceman does, but like I hadn't. I had to like look it up, and I had you to tell me before I was going into the interview. So anyway, went to the interview. He was like, yep, sweet, 100%. So I had a couple of options to do drillers offsider. Then I had the serviceman role, and then I had all these like sort of the cards were in. I could pick whatever one I wanted, kind of thing. So then went for the serviceman role. It was all grand. It's with a Queensland-based company that have a lot of projects over in the Pilbara at the minute, and we're probably going to be in the Pilbara, I would say, for foreseeable future. All's going
Yeah.
well. And then they said, right, sweet, yeah, we want you in. Your resume sounds good, and your attitude sounds good, and yeah, we're happy to have you. So then I was right, sweet, happy days, that's all good. And then they sent me through the medical. It was all very, very fast. I literally went for the medical, or sorry, I went for the interview on the Tuesday. I had the medical on the Thursday, and then I went up to site on the Monday, and that was it. So like from yes, I had those 6 days of like hammering the phone hard and hammering the computer hard, which were like soul destroying, and you're sort of like, oh, am I ever going to get a break? I'm just applying, like nothing's really happening. But it sort of took like a couple of days, and actually that serviceman role was one of the I remember applying to it because I remember reading it, and it was like at the very very beginning of me doing it. So he'd had my resume and cover letter for fucking like probably like 5 or 6 days before he even phoned me. So it just sort of goes to show that like it's not like if you're not getting any replies like right away, don't like lose hope kind of thing. Don't lose faith.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so
And a
then
lot of
I
people do. They think, oh,
yeah,
I'll apply for one job and I'll get it straight off the mark. And like,
yeah,
we are the best at what we do. And the resume is the gateway, which will kick the door in, you know what I mean?
100%,
But like some
100%.
people just are so unrealistic thinking, oh, I'll just send out one resume and I'll get that job straight
Yeah,
off the mark. No, no.
yeah,
If there's like 10 other thousand people applying for the job, you're gonna have to use the law of averages, and it's not just gonna and I'm sure you'll agree, when it rains, it pours, right? So you have
100%.
yeah, nothing, nothing, nothing. A ton of different job
Yeah.
opportunities come straight at you.
No, exactly right. And like what you're saying there, where like people, like some people just like you hear stories of people like whenever I got my job, I had like people messaging me being like, "How the fuck have you got a job so quickly? I've been trying for like months and months and months, and I still not happening anything." But then I'm thinking like, are you actually trying though? Like, are you trying hard?
Yeah.
Are you just like sending out 10 resumes on your phone, and then just like you're just thinking that's going to be it? You need to like remember these companies have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applicants like every fucking day because people from
Thousands.
yeah, thousands from people from all over the world are coming here to do exactly what I'm doing, to try and
Yeah.
come to Perth to get one of these FIFO roles because you hear that you can get so much money so quickly, and the competition was a good bit higher than I was like expecting. Like whenever I was in that licenses for workplace, I remember like in the morning the tutor or whatever will go around and say like, oh, like where do you come from? What do you do? Why are you getting this role? Blah blah blah. And like 90 fucking 7% of the class were all fucking French, English, Irish, all over the place, all here to get a job in the fucking mines. So
Yeah.
once you get your resume done, and once you get your tickets, that's like only you're now at like the level of like so many other people. It's now like the people that are willing to then put like that extra 10% in, that extra 5% in,
Yeah.
that's gonna make them shine above everyone else. It's like in that same position, which is why I think I got the role. And it just sort of is me getting the role so quickly is evidence of actual like chasing the job rather than just sort of sending out a couple of resumes and just hoping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
So
100%. Like, I mean, that's the package that we did for you, the job jump starter package.
yeah,
That is like we were when dealing with clients and they're like, oh yeah, like I've got the resume, but I'm not getting the job. It's a case of going through and working out what they're not doing. And like,
Yeah,
yeah, you're competing with tens of thousands of people, but if your Seek profile shit, or if you're just
yeah,
sending off a couple of resumes for jobs that you don't even meet the
not
criteria for,
enough, not
you're not gonna.
enough.
So yeah, that's the way we were like, how can we take as much away from the candidates so that they don't, pardon my French, fuck it up. But
Yeah,
people like you who hit the ground running take on the advice. And what was great about you was like, Cal, do this. You'd go do it. And you were hustling behind the scenes even harder than even harder than what we recommend. It was like,
yeah.
fuck yeah, this guy wants what he wants and he's going after it with like tunnel vision, which is
Yeah,
great.
100%. I had like a little sort of strategy on like what I did. I go into it about I got my guide. We'll talk about later, but as also
Yeah.
like from what you said as well. Like it was like all the follow up shit. So like you send off your resume once. That's like your first fucking stepping stone. Like
Yeah.
that's like your absolute bare minimum of like you trying to get this job, and it's what you do step two, step three, step four, step five, all on
Yeah.
this one, all on this one company to try and get you in. So like you're
Yeah.
recontacting them, you're touching base again, you're touching base again, and you've touched base with this fucking one company 4 or 5 times before you move on to the like, and then you go on to the next one. So
Definitely.
100%. So like, yeah, and then after that, then I went for the medical. The medical was like nothing bad. Like a couple of people were asking me like, "Oh, will I pass the medical and all?" Like, you generally should pass the medical. Like, you must be some really unfit person to like not be able to pass the medical. Like, it was fucking
Yeah.
easy. You go and do like
And we
yeah,
deal
go
with a lot of people as well. Just one recently who are anyway. And like some people like, yeah, but like especially like I just want to bring up like not saying that you are at all, but like the weight thing as well, right? A lot of people are significantly overweight and they're like, oh, but I'm fit, but I can pass the medical. But it doesn't come down to that. It comes down to like, the company's insurance policy and
yeah,
making sure that you can fit like seats have like weight limits and stuff like that. So that's just one other area in which candidates like the medical, the inductions, the interviews, the resume, there's so many factors which you can fall down in that whole
yeah.
process. So sorry to go off on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, a lot of areas. So yeah, sorry, Cal, back to your story.
That's sweet. No, I was just saying, like, yeah, so you ain't got your medical. It was like an eyesight to hearing test. You did like this like aerobic thing. They put like a heart rate monitor thing on you, and you stepped up on this step for like 30 seconds or what it was like a minute or something. They measured your heart rate. You did like a lung capacity test where you like blew into this tube. What else did you do?
Did you have
Just
to do the duck walk?
nah, didn't have
That's
to
the
do that.
most stupidest. Anyway, what about the plank? Did you have to do that?
Didn't have to do the plank either. No,
Oh,
no.
lucky. Those are two of my most hated, stupidest exercises too. It's like, especially when I was going for an admin role, it's like, why am
Yeah.
I duck walking across the room? This is stupid.
What
Anyway,
the fuck? What the fuck?
yeah, who comes up with this shit? Are you guys pulling the piss or what? Anyway,
That's mad.
excuse the language. Anyone
That's
watching this
yeah.
video,
No,
by the
sorry.
way? No, it's me too, so all good. Tell me about the visa situation though, Cal. That's one that a lot of people ask us. Visa, sponsorship, what visa do I need? Blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah. How easy or hard was that process for you before you left? I know we're going
Uh,
back.
yeah, for me personally, it was simple. Like, so I'm on a working holiday visa, which is a 417 subclass, right? Which like the majority of people who are like from all over the world, you can I know like Kiwi. Don't Kiwis like just have they
Yeah, they
usually
just
just
come over. We just
come and
come
go?
over.
Yeah, sweet. So I was on the working holiday for 417. So you pretty much go onto the Australian immigration website. It's like a australian.me.gov or something like that, and the screen's all like blue and shit. I've had people like message me being like, "Is this the right page?" And a lot of the time it's not. A lot of the time it's like an agent person trying to like sell them a package on, and I
Yeah,
just go, "No, fucking don't go to that. Sack it off." You like go through the link in my guide and shit, and yeah, it was fine. So you pretty much apply for it, and it's like a 25-minute job, 30-minute job of just like answering all the questions, blah 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 blah. And I sent mine away, and no joke, within about 3 minutes, I got another email, and I was just thinking it was like a confirmation email, but it was like saying granted. And I remember it, and it was like sort of late at night, and I was like, no fucking way. No way. I literally just sent it away. I actually think it was because, like, see, there's a section in it where, like, you have to state what sort of job you're, like, wanting to get into. And I said mining, and was it mining and resources or mining and exploration or whatever it was? And I think maybe that's the reason why like I got accepted like so quickly. But the process was fine. You had to prove that you had 5,000 Australian dollars in your bank account. I just screenshotted my phone and just attached it, and it worked fine. It cost, I think it was fucking 350 quid, £360, something like that there. And then yeah, just got the visa granted. And then I remember like looking at my phone in bed, being like, "Oh my God, we're fucking on."
Happening.
Yeah, we're on. And then that's whenever it all became real. And I was like, right now I'm fucking going balls in with like all the research and like looking up and coming up with the plan and all that there kind of shit. So for
No
anyone
wonder
coming over,
why half of Ireland's over here.
yeah, so
Shelling
for
it out like lollies.
yeah, so for anyone like coming over that like is wanting to like come over and like do what I'm doing, see if you set up like, if you have like a game plan on like what to do and the sort of the actions to take, like you could come over here and you could like be running around for your first couple of weeks like a complete headless chicken, not knowing what direction to go in, not knowing where to put your effort, not knowing you're wanting to go out drinking, you're wanting to like go out and meet people, you're wanting to socialize, which is like fine. But if just stick, you just have a game plan and fucking follow it out and make sure you're not
Yeah.
missing anything. And yeah, like me, I just it's all just sort of went how I planned, and I just went fucking straight into the job, and I've been in it ever since.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Have a strategy, like, enjoy your time, like, partying it up or whatever, but obviously be
yeah,
doing something that's going to help you to move in, like, towards your goal at the same time.
yeah, 100%.
All right, cool. So you come over, I think it was May that you ended up out there, yeah?
Yeah, I came over. I landed on the 1st of May, so I did
Yep.
land on the first of May. And then had the job. I flew up to site on the 2nd of June,
Yep.
so I did.
Awesome. So it wasn't too crazy hot, but how'd you go? You're out in the middle of nowhere now,
Yeah,
in this job. It's like probably still very hot, a
yeah.
million flies and all that sort of stuff, dealing with chafing, new people. How'd that go? What was your first day like?
Yeah, see, to be honest, like the first couple of days, I was like, what the fuck is this place? There is absolutely no way I'm going to be able to like do this because I was out with like an experienced serviceman, and I pretty much was just like helping him. So he was going out and doing his whole routine that he normally does, but I was just like an extra pair of hands and trying to remember like whenever I first got over here, like we had probably like 38, 39 to like 44 machines to do every day. And like you were under the pump all day long. And yes, obviously like I picked the time that I came over because I knew I wanted to come over and get working like right away. So I wanted
Yeah.
to be like in there like autumn. I knew or sorry, like
Yeah,
autumn here. So I
that's
didn't want
smart.
to come over. I didn't want to come over in the height of summer because I knew like I'd just fucking cook. So I came over that. So it was like autumn straight into winter, and then I could sort of like it was still hot as shit. Like it's fucking way hotter than obviously back home, but it's not like what it is right now, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, the heat was it's like the way I can describe it is like a hair or someone holding a hair dryer in your face. Like it's all like windy and shit, but like the wind is like not nice wind. It's like horrible wind. And then
Yeah.
also yeah, just sort of the flies and shit. Fuck me. The flies are bastards. So they are. They're everywhere. And you try and just not think about them and not let them piss you off. But it's very fucking hard to not let them piss you off. And they're so
Yeah.
fast. You can't kill it. You can't kill them. If you fucking
But
stop them, you won't win. You won't get any of them. Won't get any of them. So yeah, you just
that
once you
does
sort of once you're at one with the flies and you just try and not even fucking think they're there. I just because they land in my beard and shit, so they like tickle like while you're moving, they like tickle you and all. I'm like, oh, it's fucking annoying as fuck. But
yeah.
yeah,
But then you get paid.
then you get paid. Yeah, so like
You're like,
I
oh,
yeah, so from like people like talking to me and all, like I'll talk about all the bad points. Yes, you're working really long. Like the work is like grinding and grinding. It just goes on every day, every day, every day, and like it does get real like soul destroying. But then and it's real hot and you're getting covered in shit all day long and you're fucking sweating your tits off and it's horrible. But then you get paid and then it's all
yeah.
fucking worth it. And
Yeah.
then once you sort of definitely your first like two or three swings are like your first swing is the worst one, and then as they go on, they just get like progressively easier. And see now I do like a 3 and 1, and like it's sort of just the norm, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
which is weird as fuck. And your body will just like naturally adapt. So I was real worried about the heat and real worried about like exerting energy and all that kind of shit. But see now, like I'm doing the same kind of shit. Yes, I'm a lot more efficient with it, and I know like a lot more like what the role is, but I'm still doing the same stuff, and I can sort of just like take it in my stride kind of thing. Whereas before it was like way too hot, and like that swing that I'm just off at the minute. The swing I just finished was the hottest swing I've had yet. So it was whenever I first got up there, the next day was 47 degrees, right?
Ugh.
47 degrees, and then the next like 5 days after that were 46 every day. And then from going from 46 every day to then it dropped to like 44. And it actually felt like cool, which is weird as fuck. Because even though it's still 44 fucking degrees, which is roasting, like compared to back home, we would never see that in a fucking month of Sundays. That just would not happen. People back
Yeah.
home, 17 degrees, people are out in the back garden fucking sunbathing. Whereas like over here, 17
Oh,
degrees is like cold. You know what I mean? Well, so
yeah.
you naturally just get used to the heat, which is strange, but your body's amazing. Your body just once you're in this environment and you're up early and you're like doing all this work, your body just naturally adapts. And the way you're like, I'm up there for 3 weeks, like sort of your first couple of days are like getting back into the motion, then you get better sleep, and then you get into your routine, and then it sort of just all becomes like then the days just disappear. And but
Yeah.
before you know it, your first week's down, and you're like, oh fuck, first week's down. Then you get a whole new crew coming in. Some people are leaving, and then the hardest bit is definitely getting to the end of the second week. I find like once you get to the end of the second week, everything is easy because then you're on that countdown week, and
Yeah.
if you're like it's like the countdown to Christmas kind of thing. You're getting excited and you're getting excited. So getting to the end of the second week, I found is like the checkpoint. If I can get to the end of the second week, the last week is a breeze. So people
Yeah.
that do 2-in-1s, from doing 3-in-1s for so long, 2-in-1s would be an absolute breeze. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because like you're only getting used to being back up on site after 1 week, and you're already on your countdown week on your set on your 2-in-1. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
God,
if
cow. I did 4-in-1 for 6 years straight, and then
four
went
and
two and
one.
two. Yeah, then went two and
Holy
two, and
fuck.
I was like, "Have I been doing this whole time?" Game
Yeah,
changer.
that's mad. Fuck, I thought like see, cause my role is like so like energy exerting and like your hands are fucking sore and your neck's sore and everything's sore because you're like it's so physical. Like the role I do, I'd say would be one of the most physical roles on site. And compared to like I don't know, like you drove water carts, didn't you?
Yeah,
When
and
you started?
buses and shit like that. So yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah, I knew that from listening to all your YouTube videos.
yeah, mate.
Yeah,
When you're out there for a while, you go, "How can I? What's the not easiest job, but what's the best job for this climate? So I don't have to deal with flies, the
yeah.
heat. But I don't know. I'm gonna go driving around in circles, wetting the roads."
Yeah, yeah. Well, to be honest, like a water cart would be the cruisiest job I would say on site.
Literally.
Yeah, I would say like because you're still getting to break up your day with like waiting for the thing to be waiting for your cart to be filled up, and you're also being called here, there, and everywhere. So your job, like
Yeah,
your day, will go quite quick. But I enjoy like now I know the role and I've like become a lot more knowledgeable about it. I enjoy my role and like
yeah,
I know that like my role is like very like important to how the whole like project is like working and all the machines
definitely.
like are like down for minimal time and sort of my routine is like determined on if a machine's like sat there waiting for ages or whatever, like not filled with fuel or anything. So I enjoy the role now, but like it did take a lot to because I came like sort of brand new. It took a lot to like get used to where all the fill points were, where all the greases were. Was this one auto grease? Is this one? What is it like? Are we using 30 weight? Are we using 50 weight oil? Are we using like engine oil for this here? Like where all the fill points are. Komatsu's
Yeah,
different to fucking Cat. The 10s are different to the 11s. And like you just naturally, as you're like in this here a whole new environment, you naturally just like pick up things. Like I could list you every bit of gear that we have. I could tell you roughly how many liters of fuel goes in every day, and you just know every individual machine. This one's got auto greaser. That their pin is a bit fucking sticky, so like the auto greaser or the grease line sometimes doesn't work on this one. This one over here, the breather's fucked on it, so it overflows with diesel. This one over, you know what I mean? You just get to learn because you're dealing with these machines every day. You get to like learn about them all, and it's like
yeah,
the role that I'm in, an operator just has to like worry about like for you, for example, you have to worry about your water cart. You have to worry about like you have to do all your pre-starts in the morning. You have to worry about your tires. Have to worry about your dipstick levels. Have to worry about this, that, and the other. Whereas like me as a serviceman, I have to like keep tabs on every machine. So I have to know like all the fill points on them all the oils that go into them all, and all the sort of like if shit like looks broken or like isn't working properly or whatever, I would then have to report that back to my supervisor in the workshop.
so you love
So
your job.
I do,
Is that
yeah.
what you're trying to
I do
say?
enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I really do. I like the physicality of it. I like I'm very like sort of regimented, and people up there like take the piss out of me because I'm all about the schedule. And I have to do like pretty much the same routine every day. I have to go to like the certain I make sure I do it in the same routine every day just so I know where I need to be at certain times, and the operators know whereabouts in the schedule that they are. And if people
Yeah,
try and like tell me to come to them to like break my schedule, I'll say no because you're in an hour, you're in 2 hours or whatever. So
yeah,
fucking you're lasting. I know that I filled you up yesterday, and I know that you'll be able to last until like I get to you again. So it's very like or like I like how strategic and like methodical it is, and
yeah.
I have to keep in the same order every day. You know.
Okay, gotcha. Let's get back to what's going to be beneficial to people,
Yes, sweet.
unless they want to be a serviceman. Okay, let's talk about accommodation, Cal. So initially, you were living in a hostel, and
Yeah,
then how long did you stay there for? Do you think that's
yeah.
the best way for backpackers or like people coming over to want to go out to the mines? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, the first thing I would say definitely is there 100% is an accommodation crisis everywhere in Australia. So
Mhm.
some people are saying like, oh, I can't get houses and shit like that. Like everyone is is in the same boat in this scenario. Yes, as I was talking about at the beginning, like because Australia has such strong pull factors, like so many people are here now, and the accommodation is getting like hard to get to. So I stayed in hostels for the first like 2 weeks. I stayed in that Spinners hostel for the first 2 weeks whenever I landed, and then I luckily like this has been like a major help for me. I had a friend back home that I played rugby with in school. He's now been over here for 4 years, and they had like it's almost like a little like storage room, like conservatory kind of thing built on like the side of their house, and they just used that as like a place to store shit. And then I said to him, like, oh yeah, I'm coming over, blah blah blah. And he goes, right, well, we have that wee spare room. We can maybe like clean it out and put a bed in it and shit, and like you can just go in there. And I was like, mate, that would be absolutely fucking unbelievable. It really, really would. So I've been in that there spot for yeah, and then all my weeks off as well. All my weeks off. The first couple of weeks I stayed in the hostel. Then I came here, and then on my weeks off, I stay here on the weeks off as well. And I'm based in Scarborough, but I know that like people coming over in like couples and shit like that. Like you see people posting flat out like in all the Facebook groups and shit like, oh, need a room or is anyone renting a room or whatever, whatever. But
Yeah,
it seems like the further that you go out from the CBD, like the easier like it is. And obviously people are looking for like two beds and one beds and shit like that. They're like the most like popular. So I find like, even people up on site as well, like they found it easier to get like bigger houses, but like more people like living with them because there's like less competition for
yeah,
those essentially. So yeah, I stayed in a hostel. I was lucky enough to have a mate's room to rent off him, so I do that. But like people coming over, like renting rooms and like flat like house shares and shit like that are definitely sort of the way to go. But also, I didn't want to like tie myself into sign up to a fucking lease of a contract in a house and rent and all that kind of shit. Just because
yeah,
like I came over here to like maximize as much money as possible. So I thought like there's no fucking point me renting a room whenever I'm only going to be there for 1 week out of the whole month, which I think is fucking
stupid.
silly. Yeah,
Yeah.
stupid. There's boys up on my site that are paying like 700 a week for rent,
Oh my, what
and they're
the?
there. Yeah, what?
Wow.
Yeah, no. To be fair, their apartments are sweet. They're in the complete city center, decked out, real cool spots, but they're also 700 quid or $700 a fucking week, and they're only
That's
there for one
ridiculous.
week of the month. So I was just like, nope, don't want to do that. So I was willing to sort of be like a bit like nomadic and sort of just live out of my backpack to save up as
Yeah.
much money as I could before like I wanted to tie myself into accommodations and fucking like leases and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. And like, I know we've got a relocation service and even we are struggling to get people rooms these days. So it's crazy. But anyway, hit us up if you need help with that. info@winwin.com.au. Good plug there. Now, Cal, anyway, let's talk. And for anyone watching this on the YouTube channel, we might be splitting this up onto TikTok. And for anyone who
Yeah.
knows me, that was one thing that I was like, I am not doing TikTok because I definitely had the worst view of what that platform was. Anyway, Cal was the one who like got me into finally doing TikToks. And Cal, you have gone now on to creating some wicked viral TikToks, got a massive following, and you've basically been sharing your journey along the whole way. What inspired you to do that?
Yeah, to be honest, it was all very like organic. To be honest, like I never like came over here thinking like, right, I'm just gonna start making these fucking TikTok videos. They're gonna lead on to this, and it was just sort of I was taking like little clips because I thought they were like cool, right? I was taking like just on my phone whenever I first started working. Machines were massive, views were massive. I mean, like the scenery and shit like that. So like all cool shit. I was just videoing on my phone, and then I was making like little shit ones. So like if anyone goes back on to like the very first like FIFO videos I started doing, they were like really not that good. And I wasn't really even like expecting them to like do anything. I sort of just put them there as like almost like little like memory banks kind of thing of like my I was like it was like documenting my journey. So it was because I knew I wanted to like show my friends and show like family and shit back home of like what I was doing. So it was mainly just for like to document my progress and my timeline and shit like that. So I wasn't really like I wasn't that butthurt or anything that they were like getting like fuck all views or whatever. But then I did one on the room. So I did one on the room and it was it had like fucking like 500,000 views in like 2 days. I remember going like arriving the site, shooting it, and we got into site at probably like 12:30 or whatever like during the day, and then we had the pretty much the entire like evening just to chill. And I shot it then, edited it down, and then uploaded it. And then like by the time I'd finished dinner, it was fucking yeah on like 500,000 views, and I was like, what the fuck? And I knew that the one that would like everyone would be the most interested in was going to be how much money I was earning. So I was like
Yeah.
saving that video to like for like a key time, and I knew I was like right whenever that first FIFO room video went well, I was like tomorrow I'm gonna do the money one. So then I sort of just like I did the money one, and I think it's on like fucking like 2.6 or 7 million or something like that there, which is
Jesus.
wild, which is completely wild. And I remember like dude, I remember shooting the money one, posting it the next day at Smoko, and then I remember checking it in like maybe like an hour or two whenever I got like half decent signal, and it was on like 30,000 views. And I was like, fuck, no way, no way, no way. So like, and then I got home and it was like, yeah, shit loads. So from to be honest, it was like that FIFO room one and then the money one, both of them like doing well. And then I was like, oh my God, right, sweet. Now I need to like keep up this like momentum of it kind of thing. And like I
Yeah.
had like just from even my like normal little shit ones that I was doing at the beginning, I still had loads of people messaging me. Not even me like trying to push like I was offering help or offering information or whatever, just for people who were interested in it. And I didn't even realize that like so many people were going to be interested in it. So whenever I did the money one, it did real well. And then there was probably like that whole swing. I was getting home from work. This was probably like my like grinding kind of phase. I got home from work. I literally didn't even get in the shower or anything, sat right at my desk, set up my phone, and like during that day, I will have sort of came up with like a title or like a topic of like the video I wanted to shoot that night. So I would have set up my phone just on my water bottle and just turned because I thought like the lighting in the wee rooms were like really good. So you could like sit right in front of the light. So like the light was real good. And I was like, right, sweet. And then I just started fucking just rambling and chatting to like my phone pretty much. And then I would have like had like a half decent one. It would have been like really, really long. And then I would have jumped in the shower. I would like listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. I would have been like, right, I need to cut that bit out. I need to add that bit in. That's I'm going on too long there. I need to include that little bit. Then I would have went and got my dinner, and I would have been listening to it on my headphones. So I would listen to it over and over and over and over again, and just until I like edited it down to like how I want it to be. And then I would have like written the draft, saved it as a draft, and then I would have posted it the next day at Smoko. I would have left my phone beside the safety office because they had the Wi-Fi. So I left my phone uploading while I went and had my Smoko. And then by the time I finished my Smoko, the videos were up. And yeah, sort of just
Wow.
sort of just took
There
off from
you
there.
have it. That's how to become a
There you
TikTok
have it.
superstar.
Yeah, that's literally how it was. And I remember talking to you about it as well. I remember saying, and you were like, nah, I don't want to do TikTok, don't want to do TikTok. And I was like, Alana,
Prostitutes. Oh,
yeah, I was like, Alana, fucking listen here. You 100% need to get on this. And it's so true as well. I was like, I remember saying to you, like, this here is not going to go away, right? And it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Yes, TikTok, like ages ago, was for we fucking gimps dancing and fucking stupid shit like that there. But now it's like it's like the fucking biggest platform, like a social media platform ever. And everyone's on it now. And I
yeah.
thought the way you were like you were like putting it down before you'd even like give it a chance kind of thing. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, see if you like get on this TikTok thing, I guarantee it, it'll fucking do real, real well for you. Because I'm just after like doing these last couple of videos all about FIFO and they're doing fucking sweet. And you have information that no one else is gonna have, and it's fucking valuable. So
Yeah.
shut the fuck up and get on the TikTok game.
Well, it's not shut the fuck up. It's actually open up and just do it.
Yeah,
Stop
I
being a
know,
little
I know.
bitch. But yeah, no, thank you for that, Cal. And if you are on Cal or my TikTok channel, if you're not, get on it. Hello.
Yeah, get on it.
Yeah, thanks, Cal. Like I've got to, I actually, and you're 100% right. I went on a TikTok rampage and then just had to stop because the pure amount of work that was coming in, I was like, oh my God. And it was just, next minute got people down at Woolies. Oh, I saw you on TikTok. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. Which is definitely not what I want. But anyway, that's another story. All right, Cal. So let's get into it, right? Your TikTok videos have now led you to basically have an outline plan or a guide that you've created, which is
Yeah.
almost an exact step-by-step plan as to what you did and how other people can follow in your footsteps to achieve the results that you achieve. So talk to me about that one. What sort of feedback have you been getting? What's in the guide? And
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, straight. So the wee guide. So from doing all these TikTok videos, I was generally getting like the same kind of questions. You probably get exactly the same. People are
Yeah.
asking like generally the same kind of thing in a roundabout way. So I was getting the same messages, and like I was getting so many of them that like I was trying to reply to like as many of them as I could, but like no matter how long I spent like replying to messages, they just were flooding in, and I was like, I can't fucking. I like want to answer everyone, and I try and like send everybody like little like voice notes or video notes or whatever, just because I find them way easier to reply to. So
Same.
I was like, right, I'm gonna make this little guide thing, right? And whenever I came over, I didn't think there was much like information on like someone doing exactly what I was doing, getting a working holiday visa, coming over here, and a pathway into the mines. That like did not exist. I was trying to look for it for fucking ages. And like you were like the main information on YouTube, but like that was like it really. So I was like, right, I'm gonna design a guide that the exact guide I would have wanted whenever I was like thinking about this, of like a full step by step, taken from like right from the very, very beginning of like what flights, what visas, all that kind of shit, and then all the admin kind of stuff whenever you go over here, all your Telstra and your Medicare and your Commonwealth and all that kind of shit, and then the next bit was like how do you actually like get into the FIFO role. So the guide took me ages and ages and ages to do, because to be honest, it was like it actually reminded me of like being back like in uni, and it was probably like a wrong idea to look at it, but it was like real like tedious to make. But then like whenever I sort of started to get into it, and I still had loads and loads of people like messaging me about it and like asking questions, sort of like give me motivation to actually like do it. So I tried to like do it in the evenings, like whenever I came home and I wasn't like recording like TikTok videos, I would have tried to like write another like page or like write another paragraph, and I made it just on like a Google Doc, and I was just typing in like sort of had like all these different headings, and then I was just trying to like pad out under each heading like all the information that I had on it kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then as it sort of came together, and I made it, and like I was real happy with how it came out, and like all the pictures and all included, and yeah, I'm getting fucking unreal feedback from it. And it's actually doing way better than I thought it was. And yes, just with the TikTok videos, I didn't know that there was like so many people like from all over the world. I didn't know that this like topic was like so
Big.
interesting. Like yeah, so big. I did not know. And then whenever I made the guide, it's also sort of evidence of like it's way bigger than I ever like even like thought kind of thing. And it's been really, really cool. Like I'll have like loads of people message me being like, oh my God, thank you so much for your videos. Are a big, big help. Listen to them all the time. You've been an inspiration, all that kind of shit, which is like unbelievable, which is so, so cool. And I never even thought like that would be like what I like thought was like valuable or cool. But like getting those messages is actually you're like fucking sweet. Like I'm helping other people. It's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling that way. And then the feedback, yeah, I've got probably I would say I'm up to like 8 or 9 people that have like got the guide and have a FIFO job. And I tried to include as much information as I possibly could like into this, and I included all the sort of the hyperlinks, and it's very like interactive. I was actually chatting to a girl last night down at the markets who bought the guide, and she came up to me and was like, "Hey, Cal," and I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, I bought your guide and it got me a job." And I was like, "No fucking way. That's mad. That's mad." So I got chatting away, and I was like, "Also, what do you think about the guide?" And she was like, no joke, it was complete idiot proof. And I was like, I know, well, like I'm an idiot and I tried to like make it for me. So like I just typed it out how I spoke and how I thought. And I was just sort of padded it out on like every like little section. And it's just a very like simple, clear, like step-by-step path on like what to do whenever you can come over here, how to set yourself up with the admin stuff, and then like the whole pathway on like applying for your job, chatting to you girls at Win-Win, getting your resume all done up. Fucking here. I'll actually read out. I'll read out contents page. So I've got chapter 1 before you get on the plane. I've talked about the visa application process, the best flight route, connections via Facebook groups, what documents you need to bring, travel cards and travel insurance. Chapter 2 is what to do when you land in Australia. I talk about tax file number, bank, Telstra, Medicare, superannuation, getting your driving license switched, get your driving license switched over to a WA license, your national police check, all about taxes, all about how to claim your tax back. The best time of the year to start working, accommodation options, go and talk about hostels, hotels, house shares, and talk about enjoy your time before you start working. Chapter 3, which is like sort of the main one people are buying the guide for, which is all about the FIFO. It's what is FIFO, pros and cons, before you start applying, what tickets and training, different qualifications and certificates, what tickets to get, and to get into FIFO, your HR license, how to advertise yourself online, all about the win-win resume packages, the job hunting process, where and how to apply for the jobs, exciting new laws for working holiday visa people, a list of jobs for new starters, all about networking, all about shutdowns, and then the biggest bit fucking took me days and days and days. I have a list of 100 different companies that all have like job application or job like advertisements up right now. So and all with hyperlinks. So like in the guide, you can just like work your way down that list of like 100 companies and send your resume and your cover letter and everything to them. So yeah, that's been real beneficial for people, I think. And then the next chapter, chapter 4, is now you've got your job. What do you do? I talk about what you bring to site. Talk about your medical. I talk about what advice I would give the new starters, and then flying to site. And that's pretty much the guide. And I've had shitloads of people messaging me saying they've got it, and it's really, really taken away. They like one of the main questions that I get is like, "Oh, I've seen all your stuff, looks unbelievable. I want to come over. I don't really have an idea where to start. I don't have any experience. What do I do?" And my reply is literally, "This guide was you were like the audience I had in my head of like who I was writing this guide for. So anyone in that scenario, the guide, if you just look at it, if you get it, read through it all, follow the step by steps, and you'll literally be completely fucking sweet. And it's proofs in the pudding, the fact that like I got the role, and I've had loads of other people come over and they've also got FIFO jobs from it. So yeah, it's all been good. People just said it takes stress away from them, gives them a bit of a direction of like where to focus, where to like put their efforts into, and they just need to like follow it through, tick off each thing, and that's hard to fucking get in.
That's that.
That's that. That's that.
God, Cal, you make it sound so easy because it is. For anyone who's in Australia right now who's been like, "Oh, I've been trying for 2 years and getting nowhere," mate, come on, check
Yeah, I
this out.
know.
Cal, where can people find your guide?
So you can either just message me on Instagram, or you can go on to my Instagram bio. So like, right under the profile picture, there's a little link. It's a stand store link. Click on that there, and that'll bring you through to the guide. Or also on my TikTok, there's a link at the top where it says stand store, and it's like that's the guide as well. So yeah, or just message me and I'll send you through. Some people have actually mailed me and said that like they don't use PayPal, which is completely sweet. There's been good few have done that. And I only use PayPal because like whenever I was setting it up, it was the only like option for me to use. So I just
Yeah.
use that. But people have also like said, "Oh, I'll just bank transfer you," and then I've just like emailed it to them, and like that's also completely fine to do as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where to find it.
Right. And obviously we're going to have a link at the bottom of this video right here. And Cal, so anything else that you want to add in? Thank you so much for joining me today. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's all good. I was one of the questions I'm getting. I'm probably going to do a video on this soon. I reckon because it's one of the main ones I'm getting asked now. Do you know much about like people coming over with like I'm an electrician back home, or I'm a plumber back home, or I drive HVGs back home. Can I transfer my tickets over to Australia? That's a big question I'm getting now, and I was going to ask you anyway, and I was
Yeah.
going to do a bit more research into it, like try to answer it, because like I'm getting it a lot. So what's
Yeah.
your two cents on that?
My take on that is, and we get this every day of the week as well. I had
Yeah.
about 10 of them yesterday. People have to look into getting it transferred over to the Australian one. So you can go off, it costs quite a significant amount of money, but you can go off and then just basically get recognition of prior learning and then get your ticket swapped over to the Australian standard. It can take a bit of time though. So we've got a Sparky that we're dealing with at the moment who's just come over from the UK. And while he is waiting to actually get his ticket swapped over, he's off now as an electrical TA, believe it or not. So
Right.
yeah, I suggested get your foot into the industry anyway. Save up that money if you can, so that you can get your tickets swapped over. But
Yeah.
it's going to depend on the timing as well. But there are quite a few factors involved, like what sort of skill shortage we have in Australia at the moment, and the skills that we're needing. So that can also be dependent on how long your visa can get stretched out for as well. So there's a lot of factors within that, but I always say to people, look, just have a little Google, like just to find out where you can get it actually swapped over. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we need to look into this further, like Cal.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like so for example, like an electrician, doesn't he have to come over and like because it's not just a straight like switch from like the UK one to the Australia one, doesn't he have to do like further tests and shit whenever he's
Yeah,
here? Because
yeah,
it's like the
yeah.
theory is like slightly different and all.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, it can take a while to like getting them transitioned. So even the Sparky guy that we're dealing with at the moment, I'm like, you know what? It might be easier and more cost effective because he's got a year-long visa. So it's like, are you really gonna drop like all this money and time trying to get it transferred over when you might have to go back? But it's really up to him. So yeah, I think I just
Yeah.
rambled, but I don't know if I answered your question.
That's sweet. And then like does he like I've also heard like he has to do like a certain amount of like hours like practical work before he can get like a ticket. Because I have a real good friend who's probably one of my best mates, like up on site at the minute. He's a tire fitter from back home in Enniskillen called Jake. And he is in the process of like getting his like tire certification, even though he's been fucking doing, he's like a tire whiz back home and he was working with tires for like years and years, changing fucking tractor tires and lorry tires and doing breakdowns and all that there. He knows he's very knowledgeable about tires. But then he came over here and to get the ticket, he has to like prove that he's done so many like hours of tire work before he can like get the ticket.
Yeah,
So
over here he has to prove that.
say again.
Does he have to prove that in Australia or in
Yeah,
the
no, he
UK?
has no, has to prove it in Australia. So he's over here at the minute, and yeah, it sounds like it just loads of like hoops to jump through, but like that's why I wanted to ask you because like I'm not too like skilled about it. Whenever people ask me what's the crack with like switching my whatever over, I don't actually know, and I would like to like know a bit more information about it because I don't like I'll just keep saying like I have no fucking clue kind of thing.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
what I wanted to ask you, and I wanted to like I'm probably gonna do a video on it soon because a lot of
yeah.
people are.
Let's have a chat about that afterwards. And like, because even like, my knowledge with this one is limited as well because
Yeah.
I'll go to a certain level. And I was like, look, what I'm doing to research this, you could be doing it yourself. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
sometimes it's a case of like, look, I don't have time for this. You go find it. Go do
yeah,
it.
yeah, sort of. Like, like people will ask me questions, and I'll just be like, "How the fuck am I meant to know that answer?"
I
Do you know what I
know.
mean? Like, I
Tell me
obviously
that.
I try and be as respectful as I can to like everybody, and I try to give as much information as I can, like whenever I'm replying to people. But some of the
Yeah.
questions you get, you're like, "Fuck me, mate. Have you ever heard of Google?" Like, they're just like treating us. They just ask us questions that they could so easily just find out if they took a bit of initiative to fucking
Yeah.
research for five
You,
minutes.
you know what? I've got a whole like YouTube and like TikToks, and with my stuff, I'm like, I've done a video on everything here.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So
In this document is like the links to the videos, and I make it the most obvious title. And I go, whenever you see anyone dropping anything like that in the Facebook group or page or wherever, just grab the video and just put it out. Like, please,
yeah,
I'm not answering it again.
yeah, no,
It's
100%,
kind of how all
100%.
this has become like come about anyway, right? Like you
Yeah,
get these
no.
questions again and again. You're like, "Right, I'm putting it in a video. It's easier."
Yeah, 100%. Which is why I was like answering each one of my little TikTok videos was like answering a question that I was getting, and then
Yeah,
also whenever I was writing the guide, I was like, right, what questions am I keep getting, and then it was just like that's how I sort of structured it and I tried to put as much information as possible. I
yeah,
wanted to ask you as well. So like I've obviously even before I got the guide and before even the TikTok videos like were big, I was always like sending people toward you guys because like you were hands down like one of the reasons like why I got the job so quickly. And anyone coming over, like anyone I said to you, they're over here. Oh, I'm trying to get a role, trying to get a role. Have you got your resume done up by the win-win girls? It's literally the fucking first question I ask them. Have you got your resume done up? And if they say no, I'm saying, well, that's your problem. And then I go into, you want to talk a little bit about the like the applicant tracking system thing, about the keywords and all that kind of shit?
Yeah,
Because
sure. So
I,
like,
I, I repeat that quite a lot to people, and yeah, they say, "Oh, I didn't know about it." So yeah, go for
oh,
that.
mate, I could talk for days on resumes. Like, obviously, I've been doing this since 2001 when I first started in the industry. And then prior to that, I was running resumes just for like my mates on the side. And then when I went into recruitment, I was like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Everything goes through. And when I started my recruitment company, I bought and had multiple applicant tracking systems. These are the systems that filter resumes, right? Before it gets to the human, it goes through these systems because they save companies a shit ton of money not having to look through like 10,000 resumes for one job advertisement, right? So
Yeah,
they filter everything: graphics, logos, font size, page count, word count, everything you can think of on that document. So a lot of people think, oh, I'll just like pay $50 to some random on
yeah,
Gumtree who's claiming to be a specialist. And then next minute, a year later, they come back to us after they've been out of the industry for a year, when instead they could have had results like Cal and like
sure,
other
mate.
people who we've literally done their resume for and been
Yeah,
like, yeah. And it's not just a resume though, it's what you do with it afterwards. So your Seek profile, your LinkedIn profile, can you interview well, right? And these are all the things that we work with, especially like with candidates trying to, to work out where they're falling down in the recruitment process, and then work with them to make sure that they actually can get past that. Like, so yeah, you can have a kick-ass resume, but if you've got a shit personality and you can't pass a pre-employment medical, you're not going to get the job. So we work at it from like a holistic sort of a point of view, and have a look at the candidate as a whole and say, all right, what job do you want? Okay, do you have this ticket? No, you're going to need this. Do you have this? No, you're going to need that. And then all this sort of information needs to be on that resume in a format which is easy to read by the applicant tracking systems. And then also the second filtration system is the recruiter who looks at that resume, right? If it gets past the applicant tracking
like
system.
the human, you mean? Like this is
Yeah,
not the
the human, yeah. The actual human, yes.
as
And
if the human.
that that in itself can actually be a massive hurdle, because a lot of like companies these days, they'll put an ad out on Seek and be like, oh, we need a new talent acquisition specialist. The person has never worked in the job. They have no idea what they're talking with about. They have no idea about the machinery or what makes a good candidate for work. I've seen candidates perfect for like specific jobs who get knocked back again and again and again because it gets to the recruiter and the recruiter's asking them dumb questions like, oh, have you ever operated a like like an Isuzu 6-wheeler water cart? And they're like, no, but I've operated a Caterpillar like 777, which is significantly larger. And then the recruiter's like, oh, sorry, like tick and flick. No,
Yeah,
you don't meet the criteria. It's like, what the?
yeah,
Like, I've legit heard this, and that is one of the problems, and that is where a lot of companies as well, they waste millions of dollars hiring the wrong candidates because, I mean, in a way, sometimes I feel like we get candidates come to us and our job is to make you look good on paper, and so your resume can get through the applicant tracking system, and then
yeah,
also you don't fuck it up down the line, like your Seek
yeah,
profile's closed off and you're putting that you want a utility job paying $180,000 per year, which again, when an employer is looking in your profile, is going to get you like no deal. So
yeah,
there are a lot of factors that we try to work with candidates to mitigate them basically thwarting their own efforts to achieve their goals. So
yeah,
like that package that I'm talking about predominantly, Cal, the one that you also have in your guide, along with that, all of our other ones, they're all good, but like the bigger one that we've got is just so that people cannot fuck it up. And we show you how to go behind the scenes and do what other candidates don't, which is to like hustle like you, Cal, but do it in a professional manner so that
yeah.
you can actually get the job that you want. And you know what? It works. It works every time.
100%.
And yeah, and like, I mean, I've written a book now called Get Any Job Ever. I write courses and ebooks on every element of the recruitment process because it's easy to get a job. For me, and like, yes, I've been doing this 20 odd years and worked with tens of thousands of candidates from all around the world to help them achieve exactly what Cal's achieved. But there is a process. If you follow it, it works, full stop. So there's no reason why anyone, especially living in this country, the lucky country, cannot be working in the mining industry. You need to set yourself up. If a little Irish boy like Cal can come over across from another country and walk straight into a role because he's done what he needed to do, there is no excuse for anybody else. And I hear this all the time. It's because a woman got the job. It's because an Aboriginal got the job. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to like reach down the phone and like, punch people in the
100%.
face.
A lot of people are asking me, like, yes, it's competitive and all, but there's so much work over here. Like, see the amount of projects and shit that are happening. And
Yeah,
as this whole world, as this globe is like wanting to go more and more green, it sounds counterintuitive, but the mining sector actually has to fucking ramp up for this to happen. So the amount of like EV batteries and all this kind of shit and all these like wind turbines and all the materials, it's all coming out. Most of it is fucking coming out of the ground in Australia. So like the
yeah,
amount of like projects that are going on over here, especially in WA, there's projects all over the place. And Western Australia is so big. And the people, the companies just don't have enough people. But then it's down to the candidate. You need to make yourself attractive enough at the right time, in the right way, to the right
yeah,
people to get those roles. The roles do exist, but you just need to be the ones that's out there hunting it down and chasing it. I just wanted to ask you that about the resume thing, because like resumes back home are a bit different. So they're
yeah.
like they're a bit more like fluffy and they're a bit like laid out a bit more.
With pictures on there, with
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, like a bit, yeah. Fluffy is probably a good word. They're a bit more fluffy. Whereas, like over here, like no joke, that's the first thing I ask people whenever they say, "Oh, I've been in Australia here now for 3 weeks. I'm not getting anywhere. Have you got your resume done up by win-win?" If it's a no, that's your problem. That's your
yeah,
problem. And like, yes, it is like a bit of money, but like these things are investment. Like I was totally willing to dump a load of money into getting the tickets, getting the HR, getting the resume, X, Y, Z, because I knew it was going to be how I was going to get a job way quicker. And
yeah.
it 100% works. 100% works. So even though it's a bit of investment up front, you'd rather pay that investment into yourself to get your job quicker rather than not pay it and not get the role for way longer. So by
A
the
million
time
percent.
like by the time like I paid I probably paid, I would say, like £2,000, I would have said all in, to get like all my tickets, to get my resume done up with you, to get the HR license, all that kind of shit. And then but you work fucking 3 days or 4 days and you make it back. So it's like
Absolutely.
if you have that in your budget and if you're coming over here, budget a chunk of money to get all your training done, get your resume done up, and it's gonna be your fucking field proof way to get in.
But my number one no with you, Cal, is what you did. And like a lot of people, I always say, watch all of my videos on what not to do as well. Right. Going
Picture,
out there,
we're
getting
gonna say.
every fucking ticket under the
Oh,
sun.
yeah.
Right. No. Like I always suggest have a strategic way in which you are going to go after a specific job, and to know what tickets that you need first, you need to know what fucking your background is, what jobs
Yeah.
you can get. And that's where I always say, look, but we do career consultation sessions with candidates from all around the world. And instead of saying, yeah, just go off and get every ticket under the sun, we create a path for you. And we say, look, these are the jobs that you can actually have a chance in hell of getting. These are the tickets that you're going to need. This is how we're going to save you potentially thousands of dollars by not buying every ticket under the sun. I've seen candidates go out and do that. Literally gas test atmospheres, forklift, like every excavator ticket, loader,
Yeah.
dozer, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy didn't have an HR license. So I was like, an HR license would have trumped all of that. So like, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah.
And what job did you actually want to get? You've just gone and
Yeah.
spent like 10 grand on all
Yeah.
these tickets. If you've got a strategic way of getting in, um that's going to save you a ton of money and time as well. That's where we specialize in, like, talking to people, ascertaining what their goals are, what job that they want, what their previous experience is, and and we show you the path to get in fast so you can save time and money. So look, we charge $10 for those, or 9.97 or some ridiculous whatever time, but you're going to get an industry trained professional trained by me with over 23 years of experience of doing this. And we basically work out where you are and work out where you want to go and create that plan. So yeah, I suggest highly booking in there. You can contact my team. There's probably going to be the email or the link for our career consultation sessions underneath it. These, we don't do them for free because we are the best in the fucking business. So you can go somewhere else and like whatever, or you can come to the best and achieve results like Cal and the, you know, thousands of other clients that we've worked with and over these several decades of doing this to get them what they want. And
Yeah,
it's because we've
100%.
all worked in the industry. That's why.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I totally agree. I probably, yeah, I can see the tickets that I got. I actually haven't used any of them, which is like, so like, see, like what you're saying, and you're saying like, yeah, you did this wrong. I 100% did do this wrong. So like, I thought that just because like I didn't have any experience, I was like, right, I'll arm myself with as many tickets as possible. But I haven't used. The only one I've used was the one you told me to get, which was the HR license. So
Yeah.
I've never been in a fucking confined space. I've never been working at heights. Well, I
Have you
have,
ever
but
done gas testing?
no,
No.
I haven't done that. Haven't driven a forklift. Haven't driven an EWP. Haven't done any of that. But
Well, why didn't you watch my video of don't waste your money on stupid mining tickets?
because I'm an idiot, you see.
Oh, good. Anyone who's watching this, go and watch that next. In fact, this is going to
Yeah.
be the next video after that one. But but yeah, look, any other questions you have, Cal? Like, obviously, we like Cal, like I said at the start of this video, Cal is my favorite client. Sorry, everybody else. He's like personality wise, what he's done, making me do TikTok. There are so many benefits. Cal's the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, too right, too right, too right. Maybe just from people that are like come like getting the resume packages like through me, like Irish people. I would say like the majority of the Irish people that are like getting the resume packages
Yeah.
are all have seen my videos or like coming through me or whatever. Do you have any like sort of success stories of people
Oh
that
shit, yeah.
that I've sent to you from
God,
Ireland or
yeah.
from the UK that
I'll
are now
say
in
we
FIFO
we
roles?
get some really interesting people that have come from, and you know what? Anyone who's watching this, right? Cal has a link which has a discount to our services in his guide. Buy the
Yeah,
guide, get the discount. That's worth it anyway. In fact, if you bought the guide and then you purchase one of our packages, you're going to be saving more money than the cost of
100,
actually buying that bloody guide. So go get it.
definitely.
Anyways, that's number one. But yeah, the amount of success stories that we've got coming from people that you have been like sending to us, Cal, and like thank you for that. You know, obviously this business started formed around me when I was doing this for free for all those years after being like, nah, all you need to do is this, this, and this, and you can get into the mining industry. So look, we've worked with like Cal's people, and I love Irish people, full stop. I've got some wicked Irish mates. Hi, Yvonne. Hi. Anyway, yeah, so like, you know, we are, and people from the UK, people from Africa, people from all around the world are coming to us from obviously our channels and Cal's as well. But yeah, we've got some, like, basically it's hard to keep contact with everyone at the moment, Cal, just due to the sheer volume of work because of the success rates that we've got at the moment of getting these people. And sometimes we don't even find out. They'll come back to us a couple of weeks later and be like, oh, by the way, I landed this sweet job. Like, but yet I don't think we've had anyone who's come from you who hasn't been successful yet.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we're improving our systems as well. So we're keeping on top of everyone. We're just saying, you know what, we're going to follow up with you because we want you to be successful. The success of this business is based upon the success of us being able to help you as a candidate to get what you want. Like, that's it. I mean, you know what? And even in the real shitty times when I go, I could be driving a water cart on a mine site, earning 3K a week after tax. What am I doing this for? Dealing with all this sort of stuff. But then we'll get a testimony come in and it's like, you know, thank you, you've just changed my life. I've just landed a like, you know, $120,000 FIFO job. Like, it's going to change my whole life. Like, so it is a life-changing experience. And that's why I do this instead of like having a sweet, cushy water cart driving job.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
um,
think I totally know what you're talking about. Like whenever people message you being like, oh, like I've had people message me being like, you've been the whole inspiration of like me coming over to Australia, and you're just like, oh, this is so sweet. This is so
I
cool, so cool. And like
do.
the work that we're doing, even though we're just fucking talking to a fucking phone or talking to a computer or whatever, but like the content that like the knowledge and the value and the education that we're like putting out there is people are like second guessing what they're doing back home. Like, are you just in a fucking dead end job that you hate and you're not getting anywhere? And like life is like back home, like for me being like a single person back home, there's absolutely like zero chance of me getting a house. It's like not even like a maybe. It's like 100%, never in a million years, not happening. And there'll be
Yep.
loads of people back home in Ireland, all in the same position. Loads of people in the UK, all in the same position. And like,
Worldwide, my friend.
yeah,
Worldwide.
yeah, worldwide. But like having the sort of balls to then like make this plan to come over here to get this job to then like loads of people ask me questions about it to then just like fucking making little videos on my phone and my information is like helping other people to like lead like become like more financially free and like less stressed out about money and they get this role over here and you can work like a couple of months and just save up shitloads and you have been like a cog in that wheel like that happen for this person. It's fucking
Yeah.
sweet. It's so cool. It's so cool. So
Hey, it is.
yeah,
It is.
man.
We are like, I mean, seriously, it changes people's lives. Like, I've had people in my office like bawling their eyes out because they're like, shit, I can't afford. The cost of living has gone up. My mortgage repayments have gone up. I cannot get a job in the mines, even cleaning toilets. And it's like, look, this is really simple. We do bang, bang, bang. We do this, this, and this. Off they go. Next
Yeah,
minute, they've doubled their salary, and the next minute, they're a dump truck operator or whatever it might be. And so it is changing people's lives. And you know what, contributing to
yeah,
society, making sure that people don't get on like, oh, I can't afford, like, it's either medication or pay my rent. Which one am I going to choose? Oh, next minute people are homeless. And
yeah,
it's a fucking scary world that we're living in right now. If you're not making the most amount of money as possible in a high paying mining job, what are you doing? Like, so the only
yeah,
issue I see is this whole
100%.
the accommodation thing, especially in WA, is it's hard. Like that's hard, but there are always ways around that. So yeah, we've got a couple of other projects that we're working on as well to help to solve that as well. So it's going to be epic. We're looking at building this to be a one-stop shop training, everything. Like so, it's training, accommodation, just making sure that when people do come over, bang, yep, this is what you're going to need. Here's where you can get it. Here's how we can help you across all levels. So
Yeah.
it's so exciting where life's going.
It is. Yeah, it is exciting. It is exciting. And like, I just know the amount of people that are like still in the pipeline. Like, I have people messaging me being like, I'm coming over at this date. I'm coming over in this month or whatever. I'm coming over next year, or I'm finishing
Yeah.
my levels and I don't want to stay in the UK because there's no aspirations. So I'm following like your pathway, which is so good. It's so good that like there's more people coming over here that are wanting. We're almost like highlighting that it's like it's possible. It's a pathway because if I listen to my fucking parents whenever I first told them about like this plan to come over here and get one of these jobs, I listened to them and they were
Ah,
telling me most stupid idea ever. No way, don't do that. But if I was just back at home, I'd still be delivering Amazon parcels and working in fucking a supermarket. But now I'm
yeah.
over here earning like I've made enough money to go away on this big travel trip that I'm about to go on. I'm hoping to go away for like 10 months and I've been able to do this. I've been able to save up enough money to last
Yeah.
me 10 months of traveling, all because of this job. Also, while helping other people become a lot more like financially free and like less stressed out. And it's a cool feeling. So yeah, I
Awesome.
like
Cal, we
love what
better
you're
wrap this up.
yeah.
We could just talk about this all day,
No,
which
no.
actually brings me to the next point. So if you're watching this right now in the Win-Win Facebook group page, like YouTube channel, Cal's channels, my TikTok channels, wherever, Cal and I are actually going to be doing a live TikTok. Hey, Cal.
We are,
Isn't
we
that
are, we are.
exciting? Yeah, so right, we get a shit ton of questions. So this is your opportunity to come and talk to Cal and I live in TikTok. We're going to be putting out the dates, right? So this, if you're watching this now, stay tuned. We'll be putting out the dates of the time, day when we're going to be doing this, and you can come on, ask us anything you want about getting a job
Yep,
or the
100%.
mining industry.
Yeah, and I only started doing these like little Instagram, TikTok live things like pretty recently, and I've never done them before. I've probably done like 3 or 4 of them, and each time it's sort of just like the way we've been like chatting about questions and chatting about this, and other people have questions, and it's easy because you can just fucking you just chat away to whatever. And a lot of people, I've
100%.
actually had a couple of people like mail me saying, "When's the next time we're doing a TikTok live? When's the next time we're doing Instagram live?" So like, I'm gonna start trying to do like more of them because they are very like interactive and people can ask you whatever questions. And if someone has,
Definitely.
yeah, if someone has messaged me a question that I've like, it's just been lost in the sea of fucking like questions that I get. I don't like
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not like intentionally like not replying to you. I'm just trying to get through like as much as I can, but there's just so much. So like the
Yeah,
TikTok lives are a really good way to sort of have a personal one-on-one conversation. And if you ask any questions, we'll go through them and we'll give you the best advice we can on them. So yeah, it's
definitely.
a great feeling, and we're just gonna try and continue to help as many people as possible.
Go
Get
team.
Yeah, go team. Get the job they want so they can be a bit more financially free, not be stressed out as much, and have a load of money to just fucking do whatever they want with. I'm going away
That's
traveling.
it.
Some people are saving for houses, some people are saving for weddings, some people are doing all that kind of shit. And like,
Cal, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Sorry, but we'll keep the dates on TikTok Live. We'll see you there. Cal, thank you so much. I will chat to you
yeah.
very, very shortly.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thank everyone
Thanks,
for listening.
Cal.
And yeah, it was a pleasure.
Okay, awesome. We'll chat soon, Cal. Thank you.
That's soon. Bye bye.